Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me okay? Good? All right. Let me ask you a question. How would your business change if you had 500,000 workers ready to do whatever you needed? Well, let me give you a few examples. So one company tagged 2 million images and achieved 300% better search relevancy. Another company needed to know what their customers' brands, how they were perceived in the market, so they analyzed social media postings in real time. Another company, an online retailer, categorized 500,000 products in just days. So this is pretty amazing, but it's amazing for two specific reasons. First, this was not done by machines. This was done by people, by human intelligence. And this was done so efficiently that it only cost the companies pennies per task.
So let me ask you guys a question. How many of you are familiar with crowdsourcing, the concept? Well, crowdsourcing is a pretty common term like cloud computing. It's thrown around. It means a lot of things to a lot of different people. Obviously, probably everyone's heard of Wikipedia, those concepts. Crowdfunding is very hot right now. But we want to define it very simply for the purpose of our business here. And that is crowdsourcing for the enterprise. You see, enterprises want to see how they can leverage these huge populations to do work more efficiently. But to do that, they need a few things. First of all, they need a giant workforce, right? They need a workforce that's there and massive, and it would have to always be there, 24/7. And it would have to be able to scale to whatever size they need it to scale to. And we've seen some innovative companies do some really cool things with crowdsourcing already, right? And we've seen things like product categorization, like Joel talked about, or data extraction, where you're pulling data out of documents in real time within a process flow. So we're seeing these neat, large companies do cool things with crowdsourcing already.
The early adopters are achieving some incredible results, but I guess the question is, why aren't all enterprises scrambling to crowdsourcing? Why isn't the early majority stepping up? And the answer to that is it's complex to integrate crowdsourcing into the enterprise. The enterprise has changing business requirements, and it usually takes complex, expensive contracting projects that can run on for months. So we needed some way for enterprises to be able to adopt crowdsourcing very quickly. And that's exactly where Alegion fits in. We bring crowdsourcing to the enterprise.
So to bring crowdsourcing to the enterprise, we've got to crack that complexity nut. Crowdsourcing isn't easy to utilize natively, right? There are things that you've got to figure out. And we help businesses do that, right? And we do that with having 5 tools that we bundle together in a platform. The first is a visual process editor. It allows businesses to whiteboard out their business processes, as complex as they are, because businesses can't be constrained into these boilerplate templates that other people have done before them. They have complex processes, and they need it to be able to map according to their processes. And at each node within that workflow, they need to be able to interact with these crowd workers. And so we have a task designer that allows them to craft that node to exactly what the worker needs to see and exactly the response they want back from the worker. We have best practices in analytics already built into it. Best practices in templates already built into it, so they're not reinventing the wheel every time they have a requirement, right? They don't have to worry about how to navigate crowdsourcing. They worry about their business. We have worker management built in to allow you to curate an expert workforce of people who are good at your jobs, right? You curate your own workforce, a sub-workforce within the crowd. And we have analytics throughout our application that allows you to achieve unparalleled accuracy. So the whole thing rides on top of our Alegion workflow engine, and it's flexible, it's accurate, and it delivers results very rapidly. And we do that in conjunction and hand-to-hand with Amazon Web Services. We have a similar infrastructure, as you see, or you will see, to a lot of the companies you've seen up here, leveraging many of the Amazon services right now. But the Amazon service we want to highlight is the one you may not be as familiar with, and that's Amazon's Mechanical Turk. Now, Mechanical Turk is a massive online workforce. It's a marketplace of workers that is out there willing and ready to do work all the time. They're always available at almost a near limitless scale, and it's the raw power that we bring to bear against these tough challenges, right? It's really productivity on tap, and it's the horsepower that powers the Alegion engine. Now, Mechanical Turk has a booth over here, and I invite you guys to go talk to them. They're really cool guys.
All right. So I'd like to demonstrate the power of crowdsourcing in the Alegion platform through a simple example. a use case that one of our early customers used to build their business. Zipinion allows designers and creative studios to get feedback on their designs by soliciting opinions from the crowd. So Zipinion, for example, let's say you're maybe deciding between two logos. And Zipinion will take those logos, send them to us at Alegion. We solicit the feedback from the crowd, and then return it to Zipinion in minutes. So instead of having to wait days and maybe even weeks for a focus group to return some results, Zipinion's able to provide a really unique user experience, and we'll show you that in just a minute. So Alegion provides the workflow underneath all of this and kind of coordinates everything. And so I'd like to take a look at that workflow and then show you what the result of that is. So let's switch over to the demo.
Full screen.
So this is the Alegion desktop, and it probably looks a lot like a desktop application. We're able to drag things around and kind of organize our workspace, but it's actually delivered in the browser, and it works in any browser. But let's go in. I'm going to kind of hit the points that Nathaniel mentioned about the specific elements here. So let's take a look at the workflow tool first. So this is our visual process designer. And this designer works very simply. You can simply drag a task onto the canvas. And if I want to take the output from that task and move it to the next, I drag another task onto the canvas and connect it with an arrow. It's as simple as that. But I'd like to show you kind of what that looks like in terms of the real workflow that we're going to see working in just a minute here. So this is the use case that we're talking about. And so you can see, the screen's a little small here. I'm going to scroll kind of sideways. There's a number of different steps in this process. And the first one is a task. And remember, this is a set of instructions that are being sent out to any one of these workers out there in the crowd. These are real people sitting at the control panel here. And within our task designer here, you'll see that we have a template where the two images will be placed. It asks the worker to pick one and then to provide feedback. And if they provide feedback, we're going to give them a 1-cent bonus because we'd like to incentivize that behavior. And so the result will come back from the worker, and it will make a decision. If the worker has provided feedback or has not provided feedback, we'll simply accept the result and pay them. If they have provided feedback, we'll actually take that feedback and send it to a new task. And in that task, we'll ask another worker whether or not that feedback was good, bad, or exceptional. And if it was bad, we'll just simply pay as we would before. Maybe they didn't provide much feedback. Maybe it was a single letter. Sometimes that happens. And if they provided good feedback, we'll give them the bonus. If they provided exceptional feedback, though, we'll give them the bonus, and we'll also adjust their score. And if their score is sufficient, we'll put them into a trusted group. And that will allow us to send very specific work to them in the future. So that's a quick overview, but what's really cool is what Zipinion's been able to do for their customers. So I'd like to show you that real quick. This is pretty neat here. So take a look and watch as these results are coming in. So you can see that people are voting. The results are coming in. It's being updated in real time here. If I can get it to scroll down, we can take a look at the feedback. There we go. And Zipinion's actually doing a little bit of analysis on the feedback, breaking out the keywords and things so that you can do a quick dive into that specific item. So again, the really neat thing about this is happening. These are people they're your neighbors. They're all over the world, all over the U.S. specifically, who are answering these. And we need to treat them almost like real employees, right? You have to incentivize them properly and things. So within our platform, I'm going to jump back to the front end. We have an extensive suite of tools for managing the workers and doing things to help them perform at their best. We have the ability to drill in and figure out what these workers are good at, and we can actually even go in further. Okay.
With the Mac.
maybe not. Okay.
And
Guess
we
I
have a
won't
lot
go
of
through it.
dashboards that normally come up too.
Sorry about that. So unfortunately, one of the other cool parts that we're not going to be able to show is the analytics. So imagine you just saw some graphs of what the workers are good at and kind of the work that they've been performing categorized and spelled out. So this is this allows you to really direct work to the specific workers that are going to do the best for you. And that's just kind of a simple example. There's so many, with this workflow, you can do so many different things with crowdsourcing, and I hope you'll take that into consideration.
So at Alegion, we truly believe that enterprises are standing on the precipice of fundamentally changing the way they look at labor and efficiently doing work, right? And with that, Alegion would like to announce the immediate availability of the Alegion Beta program. If you want information about how Alegion could help your business, if you want information on how 500,000 extra workers would change how you do business, come see us at the kiosk over there, or visit us at Alegion.com to sign up and get more information. We would love to thank Amazon for this opportunity to present and launch on this stage, and we'd like to thank all of you for your time and your attention. Please have a great show.